Our society places a high value on external appearance and behavior. On the other hand, internal transformation results in consistency in outward conduct. Characteristics such as gentleness and calmness are acquired over time. Because measuring heart growth is challenging, the focus is on actions. However, if this happens, we risk misinterpreting the Bible, allowing personal preferences and convictions to take precedence over God's message. One such text is 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 4. It states, "Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight." This verse must be examined in its biblical and historical context. God's word is alive and active and may be applied to our daily lives. So what does it mean to have a gentle and tranquil spirit? And how can we put it into practice in our daily lives? Let's start with the concept of gentleness in society. Our society is rife with competing voices and viewpoints. It opposes injustice and advocates for human rights. Everyone has a voice, and they're using it loudly. To be silent is to be run over. Quietness is a sign of weakness. The basic notion is that noise causes a response, and it appears to be the case. It seems that anger is the norm. It sounds like opposing teams are throwing insults from the field's sidelines. Alternatively, like the Israelites and Philistines did, until David defeated Goliath, we associate noise with strength and silence with frailty. Gentleness seems to be lacking in our society as well. Impatient drivers speed and engage in road rage. The store worker gets tongue lashing for taking too long to answer a customer. To achieve what they want, the customer resorts to making demands. A parent scolds their child for failing a class or failing to meet a goal. Gentleness appears to be synonymous with passivity. And we can't allow someone to walk all over us, can we? Next, the concept of gentle and quiet in church culture. The church has a habit of emphasizing outward action. This isn't because they don't care about men and women's inner selves. It's the remnant of our lives before Christ. For 400 years, the Israelites were enslaved, and the slave mentality got woven into the fabric of their civilization. Have you ever attempted to remove muck from your clothing? When a stain is treated quickly, the garment appears brand new. However, when the stain quote-unquote sets, it becomes a permanent part of the fabric. It was the same with the Israelites. Slavery became ingrained in their society. Our lives were incredibly self-absorbed before Christ, so we covered it with quote-unquote good conduct. This is the residue left after we become followers of Christ. We tend to do the right thing while our hearts stay unchanged, because external behavior is a way of measuring life improvement. Churches provide a one-dimensional vision of women by focusing on a list of do's and don'ts. The truth is that gentleness and serenity are a state of mind, not a set of behaviors. Now let us know what a gentle and quiet spirit is, as God explains. This phrase must be understood in its biblical and cultural context. In terms of appearance, Roman ladies competed with one another. Expensive haircuts, jewelry, and apparel were heavily emphasized. They focused their efforts on their outside appearance while ignoring their inner selves. It's like a spotless house on the outside, but with decaying stairs and layers of dust on the inside. In 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 4, Peter states that a peaceful and gentle attitude is unfading and valuable to God. He's not suggesting that women can't express themselves or wear jewelry and stylish clothing. He's talking about a woman's spirit, not her physical form. He's not talking about a woman's voice, attitude, or behavior. Her spiritual state influences her behavior. Let's look at what it means to be kind and silent. The Hebrew terms for silence mean undisturbed, at ease, and set on. The Greek equivalent means to stop the meddling activity. The Old Testament uses word imagery to define kindness. Streams of water, the desire to yield, the ability to lead, and humility are some of the word pictures used to characterize gentleness. Gentleness can be defined as a delicate demeanor and loving kindness. We find this in Jesus' character and conduct in the New Testament, and in the charge to nurture gentleness as a fruit of the Spirit. how do we apply gentle and quiet to our spirits? To begin with, it has nothing to do with one's personality. Even the loudest and vivacious individual might have a gentle and peaceful spirit. Even the mildest character can have a violent spirit. We build these characteristics over time, and our actions mirror what's in our hearts. Are we at peace when things don't go as planned? Do we react with fury or with faith? These behavior changes happen when a person's heart is at ease and focused on God. Gentleness is controllable power. When I think of gentleness, I think of Jesus. I witness him quiet the storm, heal the sick, and love everyone. This is the kind of gentleness I'm looking for, the kind that makes people's lives and hearts change. A soft remark can soothe even the most violent reaction. That is power in check, for the tongue is a blazing fire that consumes hopes and dreams in a flash. Gentleness means not speaking what we want to say no matter how accurate it is or how much we want to say it. Knowing when to talk and when to be silent, and being comfortable with both is what gentleness entails. We foster gentleness and stillness by practicing them, first in our daily lives and subsequently during storms. Every day brings moments where we need to deliver a soothing word and blunders that reveal if our spirits are calm, peaceful, still, and at peace. The minor things that prepare us for the major storms combined with regular time spent in God's Word. The storms of life help to root these two traits in our lives, allowing gentleness and quietness to dig deep roots into the very fiber of our being. During these storms, we grow in our trust in the Lord, and as we trust in Him more, we're able to have that undisturbed and controlled spirit. However, when life smashes us on all sides, we fight to find our footing. Our hearts rage and fuss within us. We wrestle for peace and trust, doubting whether our hearts recall the power of gentleness and the trust of quiet when life smacks us on all sides. Allow God to work in our life via the challenges rather than rejecting Him. These trials provide opportunities to practice a kind and peaceful spirit. The best version of yourself emerges when you allow your inner transformation to take place. This transformation occurs when a person repeatedly surrenders himself to God. We must convey our troubled spirits to the Lord and seek His guidance. We can't do it by ourselves. However, we must choose to want it, and if we do, we will grow in it. Let's work on cultivating that calm, gentle spirit. Let our spirits be peaceful, undisturbed, and regulated if we're loud and noisy. Let our spirits be powerful enough to affect our environment if we're modest and humble. God has an everlasting affection for us. He doesn't summon us and then abandons us to flail like a fish out of water. He calls us to spiritual gentleness and calm, then holds our hands as we mature into it. We fail, but it doesn't imply God has given up on us. We prosper when we allow God to work in our lives, and those victories reflect our complete reliance on God for a calm and still spirit before Him.